Yeah. You can start, ma'am. Please start.
Yeah. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, ma'am.
Yes.
Yes.
So, the beautiful thing about learning is that nobody can take it away from you. So, yes, we all are gathered here for new learning. A very good evening to one and all present. It takes immense pleasure in welcoming you all to this wonderful webinar conducted by the University of Madras, Madras University Commerce Alumni Association, in collaboration with Sri Shankar Lal Sundar Bai Sachin Jain College for Women. I feel honored in welcoming the convener, Dr. R. Shanti Ma'am, Professor and Head, Department of Commerce, University of Madras, our program directors, Dr.A.G.VIJAYANARAYANAN Sir, Assistant Professor, Aided PG and Research Department of Commerce, D.G. Vaishnav College, Dr. Haridayal Sharma Sir, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Commerce, D.G. Vaishnav College, Chennai, and Dr. A.S.NAGALATHA Ma'am, Assistant Professor, Research Supervisor and Guide, Department of Commerce, C.Kandasami Naidu College. I would also like to extend a warm welcome to Dr. S. Basmavati Ma'am, Principal, Sri Shankar Lal Sundar Bai Sachin Jain College, Vice Principal, Dr. S. Rukmani Ma'am, Sri Shankar Lal Sundar Bai Sachin Jain College for Women. We also welcome our organizing committee members, Dr. C.K. Deepa Ma'am, Associate Professor and Head, PG and Research Department of Commerce, Sri Shankar Lal Sundar Bai Sachin Jain College, and Ms. A. Shiba, Research Scholar, University of Madras. Let me now introduce our esteemed resource person of the day, Dr. A.G.VIJAYANARAYANAN Sir. Dr. A.G.VIJAYANARAYANAN Sir is an esteemed assistant professor in the PG and Research Department of Commerce at D.G. Vaishnav College, Chennai. He holds a doctorate in commerce alongside notable qualifications such as MCom, NET and SET in commerce, SET in management, and a postgraduate diploma in software-based statistical analysis. With over 7 years of distinguished teaching experience across reputed institutions like CMR Center for Business Studies, Cambridge Institute of Technology, Patrician College of Arts and Science, Wales Institute of Science and Technology, Vistas, he has significantly contributed to commerce education. He is an accomplished researcher with 8 published research papers exploring topics such as impact of COVID-19 on consumer behavior, occupational stress, and marketing strategies. He is frequently invited as a resource person to deliver expertise on diverse subjects, including research ethics, data analytics, and operations research. As a life member of reputed professional organizations such as Indian Chamber, Indian Commerce Association, and the Indian Accounting Association, and a fellow member of the Indian Academic Researchers Association, he remains an active contributor to the academic community. Sir also holds key positions as a doctoral committee member at SRM Institute of Science and Technology and Garden City University, Bengaluru. His unwavering dedication to academia and research continues to inspire and advance the scholarly domain. We welcome you, sir. And Dr. A.S.NAGALATHA Ma'am. Dr. A.S.NAGALATHA Ma'am is an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce at C.Kandasami Naidu College for Men. She holds PhD from University of Madras along with MPhil, MCom and NET qualification. With over 20 years of teaching experience at the undergraduate level and 18 years at the postgraduate level, she has guided 8 MPhil scholars. Currently, she supervises 6 PhD candidates, out of 1 has been awarded a PhD, 1 has submitted a thesis, and 4 have submitted their synopsis. Now over to the resource people. We welcome you, sir and ma'am.
Thank you,
Thank you so much. Okay, so good evening, everyone. It's my pleasure to come back after a long time. So today's topic is scales of measurement. So without much delay, First, let me thank our gurus, Dr. M.V. Arlalan, who is my guide and alma mater. And I also like to thank my guru's guru, Dr. M. Ranganathan, and his guru, Dr. O.R. Krishnaswamy, sir. And we also like to thank Shanti ma'am because she has been instrumental in making this program a very successful one. So, and she has also given us complete autonomy to design and frame and whatever that we wanted, we can implement it. So, thank you, ma'am, for that. And with this, we start with the today's topic. Over to Nagalata, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So I'm very happy of being part of this. And thank you for this opportunity. First, I thank my guru, Dr. Ranganathan, sir, my guru, Dr. R. Shanti ma'am, professor and head, Department of Commerce, University of Madras. Her inspiration made us, so even every scholars in the university deserve, what we say, the blessings from madam. Probably we are here because of her. Just here we want to start the session about measurement of like scales of measurement, where it is very important in this research domain. So here, so first of all, before going for the scale, we'll like to know what is data first. So data is a plural term. Normally datum is the word as normally called as singular. So when you say data is a collection of information, fact, value, or measurements. So that will support you to know the details of the research area which you're going to investigate, which you want to show some sort of difference and prove the results. So normally this is as a part of very important, and data without any normally see when you do a research, there's two different data that you'll be getting. It's primary data and secondary data. So primary data is the first hand data where you will be getting a detail from person by observation, or maybe a interview based thing or survey based thing. So these are the things that we're getting directly from the respondent. So it may be your respondent, maybe a people, or maybe a product, or maybe a controlled variable group of people. So these people are being part of your data. So from them, normally you'll make an observation. You collect that, what we say, opinion from those people and their preference from the people. Okay, so this is comes under direct, or we can say as a primary data. So secondary data, which is already published and been authorized, reliable, in order to take it for your consideration of research. So it may be for the articles, or maybe any sort of government gazetted based publications, authorized peoples from different websites, national, international forum, they would have published. So these are the things that all come under the cases of secondary data. So it is a quantitative, numbers, fact, observation, measurements, everything will come under the category of what is data it is all about. So next, the data have a two different types. So first is called quantitative, which has been measurable. So it is come under objective based, where you could measure and you can work on it. So here, next one is called qualitative. So qualitative is something like we can say is an opinion, attitude, awareness, knowledge, practice. So these and all item will be differ from person to person. So qualitative, it is something called attributes and rank. Normally you can say the respect towards the elders. Now the we say, now the generation respect towards the people, elders. So this comes under qualitative. Okay. So this is a kind of psychological based, where the people opinion and the intention will be different in different platforms or different times, or we can say like, so this is comes under qualitative. Qualitative absolutely in terms of numbers, where you can measure, you can fix a mean, median, mode probably for the same. I request sir to add some on points in this.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. So as ma'am was saying, data is everywhere. Data is in all form. See, my professor used to say, statistics is the study of variables. Whatever that vary is called a variable. For example, all the variables are data. Okay, because let's say our age, our height, our weight. Okay, so everything is variable, and that which is variable, okay, they are called data. And the data can be both quantitative and can be qualitative. Okay, for example, if I ask how many hours you sleep, you say 6 hours or 8 hours. That's a quantitative. But if I ask on a scale of 1 to 10, what is your quality of sleep? 1 being the lowest, quality of sleep, and 10 being the highest quality of sleep. So again, you are measuring the quality aspects also in terms of number. Okay, because if you see the sports doctors, they normally ask the pain in terms of scale. On a scale of 1 to 10, what is your pain? 1 being the lowest pain and 10 being the very crucifying pain. Okay, so data can be both quantitative and qualitative. And if you see from statistical point of view, we know that data can be collected in raw data, and raw data, if it is put into an order, it becomes a discrete data. And if it is measured within the ranges from lower limit to higher limit, okay, then it becomes the continuous data. So these are the data types which we wanted to touch upon, because that is more important and relevant for knowing about the measurement of scales. Ma'am, shall I proceed with the scales?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So when it comes to scales, see, we all know that research can be broadly classified into 2 types. One is life science, the other one is social science. In terms of life science, all the measurements, maybe they are very specific and unambiguous. For example, this much liters of chemical, or this milli of, if they say administer 5 milli of some drug, so it's a 5 milli. Okay, so everything can be measured perfectly. Okay, but the second part of the research is about the social sciences, where we actually comes in. Okay, because social science includes commerce, economics, administration, sociology, management, and so on. See, what happens in social science, we deal with the human behaviors, we deal with the attitudes, we deal with the traits of the people. Okay, we measure the skills, we measure the satisfaction. So everything is a very subjective nature. It's not objective in nature, it is very subjective. Therefore, measuring in terms of social science deals more with the social and psychological variables, and it may be subjective from person to person. Therefore, this scales of measurement is a very complex and a very cumbersome and a demanding task in terms of social science. So if you look at the definitions given by Stevens, he says assignment of numeral to objects or event according to rules. I just read out. And if you see the Campbell defines the measurement as assignment of numbers to represent properties. And there's one more definition. Probably ma'am can dwell on this definition for 1 or 2 minutes, and I'll take it further, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, sir. So actually, my point is here, like Tarjan sir has defined very fantastically, where he covered the both people's opinion. It has been representing the amount and a property of being possessed by all of the subject. See, where he have given importance to the subject and as well as the assignment of number. So this could be go for both subjective and objective based measures. Okay, so normally measurement is very important when all the points, all the subjective or objective matters, you try to fix numbers, which should be accessible, which should be calculatable. Okay, that is very important. Here, as Sarah said, rightly the measurements, like count what is countable and measure what is measurable. So this is a keynote from this end, and I invite sir to add on his own point in this measure.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Actually, this is the best quote that I would say from Galileo. Count what is countable and measure what is measurable. See, when I first read this statement, it looks say what is there in this, but there is a deeper meaning into this statement. I'll just give an example. See, count what is countable, measure what is measurable. See, when you translate that into our mother tongue, எதெல்லாம் என்னென்னமோ அதெல்லாம் என்னன்னோ எதெல்லாம் வந்து மெஷர் பண்ணுமோ அது மெஷர் பண்ணும். It looks very simple, but I'll give you a very simple example. Now, let's say I give you a handful of sand. Okay, I give you a handful of sand, and if I ask you to count it, you will really see me in a different way, right? Because there, that handful of sand should not be counted, rather it should be measured. For example, they say a galaxy of stars, right? So those stars cannot be counted as such. So countability is one task, measurability is other task. Okay, for example, our weight is measured. Okay, our age is counted. Okay, so we should be having a clarity of what is to be countable and what is to be measurable. It may look very simple, but it has a very deeper meaning into it. Okay, now moving further, concepts relating to measurement, I'll dwell upon these areas, and then we will go to the scales of measurement. See, why should we know these terminologies which are related to measurement? Because without knowing it, it will be very difficult for us to measure what and how. Okay, so the first concept is what is to be measured. See, you can measure either an object or an properties of object, as the definitions, three definitions were saying. What is object? See, I'll give you two examples. One is direct property. For example, your age, your height, your weight. It is objective in nature. See, if I'm saying I'm 40 years old, I'm 40 years old. Even if Nagalata ma'am, measures my age or counts my age, it is going to be 40. It is not going to change from person to person. In my height, my weight, it doesn't change because it has a perfect property. Okay, it's a direct property and it is objective in nature. Whereas it also has an other properties. For example, your intelligence, your attitude, your motivation, your satisfaction level. These things are subjective in nature. So what is that you are trying to measure matters a lot. Whether it can be done objectively or it can be done subjectively. Okay, I'll give you some example for objects and properties of objects. Now let's assume, because we come from a commerce and management background, I'll give you some examples. Let's say if you consider customer as an object, okay, how many customers are there? Those are the objects. But what can you measure in terms of properties of the properties of objects? You can measure customer satisfaction, brand loyalty, purchase frequency, product preference. All these things are related to customers. So customers are objects and these are the properties of objects. I'll give you one more example. Employees are objects. What can be the properties of employees? You can measure job performance, job satisfaction, job motivation level, and the teamwork skill of the employees. These things are the properties of objects which can be measured. I'll give you one more. Advertisement as an object, and advertisement recall, advertisement effectiveness, and appealing, emotional appeal. These are the properties of objects which can be measured. So we must be knowing what exactly we are trying to measure. What are the objects and what are the properties of objects? That is point number one. Second thing is that why do we measure, or what is the need for measurement? Very simple. See, by measuring, we can identify the patterns, we can identify the relationship, we can identify the trend for a better decision making. Okay, and you can construct a theory, you can develop a theory, and you can statistically prove. Say, for example, job motivation is not there. That is a simple statement. You can prove it by developing a theory, by developing a questionnaire, and then you can build a constructs and you can measure it, and then you can either prove it or disprove it. So all the statistical analysis can be done, and for that we need measurement. Else it becomes just an opinion. It is not a fact. Okay, opinions can be changed into fact if it can be measured. So that is the need for the measurement. And as I mingled that with the functions, it facilitates empirical description. So quantitatively we can prove the social and psychological phenomena. Okay, number two, it helps us to statistically treat. For example, we can prove the opinion statistically by collecting the data. Number three, testing of theories and hypotheses. As I was saying on the other day, let's say you have Maslow's need hierarchy theory. What does it say? It says basic needs, social needs, security needs, and so on. I will say that theory is not right, because let's say if I throw a food packet to a beggar, will he go for it? No, he will not, because his esteem is more important than his basic needs. In that case, what is the theory says? It says first it has to go with basic, and then it will go with security, social, esteem. But this theory may be proved or disproved by collecting the data. So for that, measurement is needed. And it also enables the researchers to differentiate between the objects and the properties. These are the statistical things which we can do it by standardized scales and so on, which measures the attitudes, behaviors, traits of the other people. Next thing, we will proceed further. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Just only I want to add. So you can
Yeah,
here
yeah.
compare. We can compare the two different groups by proving
Yes.
this measurements. Normally, we
Yes,
can
ma'am.
say the girls are scoring, and the population of passing percentage is more in girls than a boys in +2 examination. So, like we can compare the what we say the productivity among the two different groups. So
Correct.
with the help of this measurement, we can have this what we say proof, or maybe we can develop the theory as whatever they said by the sir. So we'll go with us very important aspects, classification of variables, how these variables has been considered in research forum to fix the measures. Sir, please.
Yes, ma'am. So this is the most important, because in terms of social science, when you develop a scale for a construct, okay, see, I'm using 2 or 3 words: developing a scale for a construct. You need to know about the different scales. See, we have different scales. We all know that strongly agree to strongly disagree. That's a 5-point Likert scale. We have semantic differential scale. We have multidimensional scaling, Gutman scale, Thurston scale, rating scale, ranking scale. All the scales. Probably we will deal it in the later part of the webinar series. But whatever the scales that you construct, okay, that are classified under 4 scales. Without knowing this, measuring the scales is of no use. So the first one is nominal scale, ordinal scale, interval scale, and ratio scale. These are the order. Nominal and ordinal. These are together called as categorical or lower order scales. Interval scale and ratio scale, they are called higher order, or they are called numerical scale or measurement scale. Okay. Just remember this. If your scales is in nominal and ordinal, you can go only with non-parametric test. If you want to do any parametric test, then your scale must be in interval scale and ratio scale. Now let me explain what this is. See, nominal scale, as the name suggests, you nominate a number to represent something. You can see the example here. Female, we have given as 1, and male, we have given as 0. It doesn't mean that female is having 1, so she is better than male. No, it doesn't mean that. Let's say, for example, my ID number is 2098. Okay, and my friend's number is 2095. It doesn't mean that I am better than him. Okay, because if you see the prisoners, they will have some number 420, 240, whatever it is. Okay, it just represents something. That's it. Okay, so nominal scale, the number actually do not have any value. It is nominated to represent something. So that is nominal scale. Whereas in terms of ordinal scale, there is an order. Now I'm bringing a new postulate. You can see to the top left corner, there are 3 postulates basic to the measurement, which means every scale is measured under 3 parameters. One is order, the other one is distance, the other one is origin. I'll tell you as and when it comes. See, for example, in case of nominal scale, I can also give 0 to female and 1 for male. Or I can give 1 for female and 2 for male. I can give any number, because number do not actually have any value in nominal scale. So there is no order, there is no distance, there is no origin in terms of nominal scale. Whereas when it comes to ordinal scale, please look at this example. What is the socio-economic class that you belong to? Do you belong to low income class, middle income class, high income class? There is an order here, ascending order. Okay. What is your income level? Less than 25,000, 25 to 50,000, 50 to 75,000. So there is an order. But the distance is not here. The origin is not here in this ordinal scale. Okay. How and why? I'll tell you. The distance between the low income class and the middle income class is not the same distance between the middle income class and the high income class. Now, let's say, for example, I give 1 for low income class, 2 for middle income class, 3 for high income class. Now, I choose low income class. I belong to low income category. And now let's say Nagalata ma'am belonging to high income category. So her number is 3. So I cannot say that Nagalatha ma'am is thrice as me. You cannot conclude that. Okay, because here 1 represents low income, 2 represents middle, 3 represents high. There is an order, but the distance is not the same. So that is ordinal scale. Whereas in case of interval scale, as we all know, this 5-point Likert scales and other, five-dimensional scale, 7-dimensional scale, all comes under interval scale. Okay, where you have an order. See, strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. There is an order, and the distance is also same. There is a distance which was not in ordinal scale. For example, the distance between strongly agree and agree is as equal as the distance between strongly disagree and disagree. 5 minus 4 is 1. That is the same distance as 2 minus 1 is equal to 1. It can be, because these interval scales can be subjected to algebraic properties. Maybe when it comes to analysis part, I will dwell more on this interval scale. Okay. And finally, ratio scale is the most idealistic scale, which means it starts with the origin. That origin was not there in the interval scale. You see, what is origin? Origin means it should have 0. Okay. See, when you take your scale or ruler, it starts with 0. Okay. You can see an example here. Now, let's say Nagalatha ma'am has scored 90 marks out of 100. Okay. And I have scored only 45. Okay. So she can proudly say, hey, look, I have scored twice as you. How can she say very clearly? Because when she say 90 marks, it starts from 0 to 90. And when I say my score is 45, I mean from 0 to 45. So there is a common origin starting point, which was not in nominal, which was not in ordinal, which was not in interval. Okay. So ratio scale has the order, the distance, and the origin. So this interval and ratio scale, they are called higher order scale. For all the parametric test and other things, your scale must be in interval scale and ratio scale. If your scale is not in interval and ratio, then you should resort only to non-parametric test. Next slide, ma'am.
Yes, sir. So only adding a few points
Yeah.
with normally a categorical variable, normally we say nominal and as it said ordinal. So these two scales, we never try to make a mean, median and mode for that. Okay, so maybe the mode is a frequency, the highest number we can consider, but not for a mean and median. Because see, when you go for a male and female as a nominal value, if you're going to find out the mean score and the median score, it's nothing part of the research. It doesn't mean anything, but it is about like opinion. As Sir said, as like one of the example, Sir said, okay, mean score of this girls who have studied +2 marks. Okay, so that has some sort of value. So where they fall, so which category they fall, the mean score and the median. So from the high scorer or low scorer, so we can take it in that cases. So the interval scale and ratio scale are used only for a parametric test in order to apply for this mean, median and the mode. Sir, please.
Yes, ma'am. So these are the basic types of scales which we wanted to basically touch upon. So as just quick recap, there are 3 parameters. One is order, distance, and origin. And these are the 4 scales. You name any scale that can be classified under either nominal or ordinal or interval or ratio. Now, just to add on a pinch of salt. See, I just want to take 2 or 3 minutes of this time. I was thinking that 5-point Likert scale is an interval scale for a long time. Okay. But when I got my international report of my PhD, there was a question that is this 5-point scale an interval scale or an ordinal scale? We all think that 5-point scale is an interval scale, right? Basically, it is not. It is an ordinal scale.
You have given a number.
Yeah. It is basically an ordinal scale, but it has certain algebraic properties that strongly agree has some algebraic properties. Don't worry. I'll explain when I deal with mean, arithmetic mean in an extensive manner. Okay. Therefore, because it has some algebraic properties, the 5-point scale, even though it is ordinal in nature, it also has the capacity of interval in nature. Therefore, we can go with all the parametric tests like factor analysis or cluster analysis or whatever the correlation, Pearson correlation. So that is eligible to do. Okay, so that is the one thing which I wanted to say, because 5-point Likert scale is basically like a hybrid scale, which is an ordinal and interval in nature. For example, in accounts, we have this preference shares, right? Preference shares is both kind of a share and a kind of a loan kind of a thing. It's an hybrid one. So similar to that, 5-point Likert scale behaves both ordinal and interval in nature. Okay. Then we can proceed with a small, since we are monologue, it's not monologue, it's a dialogue. We both are saying. So we thought whether the people are listening or not. We can have just a quick check. Your weight. Let's say I'll say my weight. My weight is 99. Okay. My weight is 99. Is it a discrete data or a continuous data? We just want some answers in the chat box, or you can unmute and you can speak. Weight, is it a discrete or a continuous data? I say 99. I am 99 kgs. Is it a discrete or a continuous data? Just to cross verify that you are in a position to understand.
See, normally discrete is a quality based. Okay. So continuous data is a measurable in terms of number. So Hanses.
I am not seeing any messages. There are 44 people. Leaving 2 of us, it's 42. Again, number of participants is 42. Is it a discrete or a continuous? Because everything is data.
So it is a continuous data, sir. It starts with 0.
No, it is not a continuous. See, continuous data. Okay, I don't know in what. See, when I say 99 kgs, it's a discrete number. Discrete means one specific number. When I say I range between 90 to 100, then that is a continuous data. So continuous data will have a lower and upper limit. Okay, but I say my weight is 99. It's a discrete. It's a one number, right? So it's a discrete data. Okay, fine. Number of vehicles you own. Number of vehicles you own. Let's say you own 3 vehicles. That's a discrete, exactly. And today's meeting number, Zoom meeting number. But this is not the meeting number. 26420482386. What scale is it? Is it nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio? Today's Zoom meeting number.
Anybody
What
please
scale is that?
answer?
What scale is that? Today's Zoom meeting number.
We expect.
Perfect, Rajbharat
Nominal?
sir. Perfect. It's a nominal number because it doesn't have any value as such. Okay. So Zoom meeting number is a nominal. Your monthly expenditure on petrol. Let's say if you give one concrete discrete number, I spend around 1,500 rupees. I should say like that. Then you can be able to understand what scale it is. Let's say 1,500. Your monthly expenditure on petrol, 1,500 rupees. What scale is that? Nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio? Do we have some data? What scale is that? Okay, let me answer. It is a ratio scale. I'll tell you why. Because when I spend 1,500, it starts from 0. And if Nagalatha ma'am says I spend around 3,000, okay, then she says from 0 to 3,000. So that's a ratio scale. Okay, tourist destination, Wayanad, Munnar, Mahabalipuram. This is an example for nominal scale because it can be arranged either way. It doesn't matter. Income category, 25 to 50,000, 50 to 75,000, 70 more than 75,000.
Interval. Rizwana ma'am gave an answer. Is a interval scale.
Rizwan sir saying interval. No, it's an ordinal scale. Okay, because you say the difference is same, it can also act as a kind of an interval, but more probably it is some kind of an ordinal scale. Because when you take this as an independent variable for regression, that will not be, no, it will be considered more as an ordinal scale only. Thank you so much. Next. So, yes, ma'am, proceed, ma'am.
Sir, so here we go with the scale, a nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. What sort of test that can be applied for this? So nominal scale, as I told you, we cannot go for a mean and median because it is just a count. It's just a number. So here we can see the highest frequency. So in research, normally we can say majority of the people or major part of the people are from this area. Major part of the product was been purchased from the Swiggy and Zomato is this. So like that, we can fix the highest frequency here as a mode. And chi-square normally will be applying when we see the association between a nominal value of the categorical value of the both variable what we have chosen. So we can have this ordinal for mean and percentile value we can calculate, and we can also give a rank order for that. So here the ordinal, which we say, even it is an order, so it is from top to bottom, or maybe ascending order or descending order. Okay, here we can see the what is the mid value. So who is the high scorer and who is the low scorer. So whether which is they satisfied or not satisfied, or we can say yes or no. So we can have this value in terms of ordinal. So rank normally based on the hierarchy and order, you can fix it whether first, second, or third on given the weightage for the variables, whatever that we choose. And interval scale, we have an arithmetic mean, standard deviation, Carl Pearson product moment coefficient, and T and F test. So normally the popular is T test and F test. Normally we'll do it in the research platform. Standard deviation is an excellent measure that will tell how far we are sticking into the result and how far the study is not deviated. Okay. So, and we can say the ratio is an excellent, because sometimes, sir, in some questionnaire I have seen some open questions will be given. For example, instead of you range your age, it's from maybe 20 to 25 or 25 to 30, or not giving in that way. They'll be giving an open question. For example, they'll give a dash, mention what is your age. Okay, so if it is comes under ratio scale, isn't it? For that category, we can fix it all the other tests like correlation regression and other geometric mean and harmonic mean and coefficient of variance. Is it true, sir?
Yes, ma'am. If it is measured, for example, age, if it is asked openly, it is a ratio scale. Let's say some says 20, some says 25, some say 27, 29, 35, whatever the numbers are. Okay. Based on that, I can categorize into how many people come under 10 to 20, 20 to 30, 30 to 40. I can classify because ratio is the most idealistic and a higher order. So from higher order, it can be reduced to lower order. But if you say age 20 to 30, 30 to 40, and if people are just ticking 20 to 30 or 30 to 40, we may not able to derive what exactly their age is. Okay, so that is not possible. That's why I say normally age, if it is can be open scale, it will be much preferably better. But normally people say that, sir, they won't tell us what is their exact age because you ask their name. Don't ask the name of the respondent. We don't need how many Raj, how many Priya. We don't need it. And don't ask personal questions because they will be reluctant to answer them. Okay. And I
Sir,
also
I have
want
one more
to.
question.
Yes.
I have one more question. Sir, in
Yes.
terms of asking a monthly income of the family, somebody may lie when it is given an open question. Okay.
For
So
definitely
how
monthly
for
income. Okay, for definitely monthly income, even I will not answer the in terms of ratio scale because not all the things you cannot measure it in ratio because for monthly income, there's no chance, because not many of us will tell us. So wherever it is possible for measuring in terms of ratio scale, it's better to measure. And I want to answer one question raised by Rizwan sir. He was asking me why this income in quick check question, we have given an income. Can you just go to that slide, ma'am?
yes, sir.
So sir is asking why this income category, you are not saying this as an interval scale, sir? Because I said it's an ordinal scale, right? I'll tell you the reason. See, the distance may be equal. As I say, 25,000 to 50,000, the difference is 25,000. The 50,000 to 75,000, but it doesn't have a base starting point and it doesn't have an ending point as such. It says more than 75,000. More than 75,000 to what? Up to what? So there is no specifications mentioned. because of that, and there is no starting point. Okay. And that is the reason why I conclude this example, whatever that we have given, cannot be exclusively considered as an interval scale, and it should be considered as an ordinal scale. Hope I am answering your question, sir. Thank you so much. We'll proceed.
Okay, so characteristics of good measurement too. It is unidimensional. Normally, we can say it could fix only one value it should give us. Okay, normally the scale which is used to know the distance. Okay, meters. Now that's only the purpose the scale does. So, but some measurements will have a dual measures. So we can say body mass index. So which will measure the mass and as well as your weight and as well as your height. See, normally if you took that sort of measures, you need more focus on explaining and verifying it. So that's very important. Normally, whatever that you choose, make it as a unidimensional only, because you will not divert or maybe what we say make a mistake on the terms of measures. And it has been linear. Normally, any measurement tools which should be a linear, maybe it is vertical or horizontal or maybe a slope kind of nature, it will be have a decreasing and as well as in the increasing category. So validity, when you say the measurements tool, whatever that you choose, it should be we can say measurable, or validity should be trustworthy, and it should be easy to fix that value for the particular object or maybe a variables. Okay, so here the reliability is a trustworthy. How for the data is, we can say, fix the measures, whatever that we are given for the variable, it is connected to that. It has been, what we say, measured to that. So as sir said, counting a stars, it is not possible. Okay, but we can say counting a moon around all the planets, it could be possible. So like that, we can say reliability in that case, accuracy and precision. All the detail which we collect or the data, it should be very accurate, and the measurement, whatever they're giving for that particular data, should connect and give the value. And we can say, sir, I will be adding some point in this accuracy, I guess.
Yes. See, in terms of accuracy and precision, the measurement tool should be able to measure what it is intended to measure in a very precise way or in a very accurate way. I'll give a simple example. I went to hospital a couple of weeks back. So they wanted to take the blood pressure of mine. I work very close with many doctors of various field. Okay, in statistical sense. So my doctor always used to say that he checks the blood pressure in a manual apparatus. He checks with the manual apparatus. But the hospital where I went, it was having that what is it? That electronic blood pressure gadget. Okay, so I know that I have a little high pressure always. Okay, when I counted, it was like when they checked my blood pressure, it was 160 by 100. And the doctor who checked me, he said, "What is this? You have a high blood pressure." But I was having a doubt whether the apparatus is actually precisely measuring my blood pressure or not. I had my doubt. So I was just waiting for the others to get checked. And one sports person, he actually got checked. It showed the same reading for him also. Now he also got confused. And we made that nurse itself to check for herself. Okay, she checked for herself, and again the measurements were to that. So which means that even then the doctor said that this apparatus which checks the blood pressure is not accurate and precise. Okay, so similarly, the measurement tool that we are actually preparing should be able to precisely measure what it is intended to measure. Okay, yes ma'am.
Okay, sir.
I'll
Thank you.
proceed with the
So
simplicity.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And yeah, a good measurement tool should be very simple. When I say simple, what does it mean? See, when I say simplicity, it should be easy to understand. To whom? To the respondents. Now, let's say I ask a question to this good audience. How do you like our session? Yes or no, if we give, it's easy for you to answer either yes or no. Okay. Now we are increasing the scale. We will give you 5-point Likert scale. Strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. We give you 5 options to choose how our session is. Still, you can, you can answer anything, whatever that you like, because it is easy for you to, choose among this 5. Now we are increasing the scale. Very strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree, very strongly disagree. We are increasing to 7 scale, 9 scale, 11 scale. In that case, then you will have a question. Sir, what is the difference between very strongly agree and strongly agree? Because you can complicate the scales if your respondents are more knowledgeable and if they can able to decipher what exactly it is. If not, that is why my guide used to say, for an Indian context, always when you go with interval scale, go with 5-point scale, because even that itself is very difficult. Okay, because even now, if I ask you, you will say, sir, I have the satisfaction level of your session somewhere between agree to disagree, but not agree or disagree. Or you can say somewhere between disagree to strongly disagree. So there is a one more scale that you need to add it. So if you add like that, then it becomes because scaling is very complicated, and as I said, it's more of a subjective process. So it should be kept very simple. And next one is practicality, which means that considering the time, resources, and the respondent's knowledge, it should be feasible and efficient to administer. In terms of the real-time situation, we should be the scale should be more of practical in nature. As I said, it should not be made more complex. Make it as simple as that, but in such a way that whatever that we are intended to analyze, at least it should have that properties of measurement. So these are some of the measurement. A good measurement tool should have all these characteristics. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. So next we have soundness of the measurements. Please carry on, sir.
Yes. See, we saw what are the characteristics a good measurement wanted to have. Now, how do you know that whatever the scale that you have prepared is good? There are 3 things. 1, validity, reliability, and practicality. We have been using this word validity and reliability plenty of times, okay? But in more interchangeable way. But it is not so. They are all poles apart. They are all different. What is validity? Validity means what is that you are measuring? How is that you are measuring? நம்ம தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும் அப்படின்னா என்ன மெஷர் பண்ண போறீங்க அப்படின்றது வேலிடிட்டி. எவ்வளவு ப்ரிசைஸா மெஷர் பண்றோம் அப்படின்றது ரிலையபிலிட்டி. Okay, validity refers to how accurately you measure something. In this, you have 2 points. One is content validity, construct validity. Content validity means what is that you measure. For example, let me take the same example of how this session is. Okay, this is the topic of our research topic. Okay, I can ask what is your age, what is your educational qualification. These are related questions to the topic. But if I ask what religion you belong to, whether you are a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, these things are not at all necessary for this topic. Because what is the topic? How do you like our session? Why do I want to ask what religion you are or what kind of eating habit that you have? It is irrelevant to the question. So whatever the question that you ask should be relevant to the topic. If it is not so, then you should not ask that question. So what to ask? That is content validity. How do we ensure that? That is where for all the PhD people, we have something called doctoral committee members, right? So we will show our questionnaire to the doctoral committee members because they are the expert. They are the subject matter expert. They will tell you, see, you can add these questions. You can take these questions out of because it is irrelevant to the topic, because they will determine, or you can have a discussion with subject matter experts, with your guide, or with whom, they are very well versed with the topic. They will be able to say what content validity. The next one is the construct validity, which means even if the question is relevant to the topic, how do you ask it? See, I told my MCOM boys that interval and ratio scales are good. You can ask 5-point Likert scale because you can do factor cluster analysis and so on. You know what he did? One guy did. First question he's asking gender, male, female. Okay, what scale is that? Nominal scale. Then he's asking 1.1. If male, strongly agree, neutral, disagree, strongly disagree. 1.2. If female, strongly agree to. I asked, hey, why did you ask that? Sir, you only said 5-point Likert scale is good, sir. So he's asking for all the questions. The second question was marital status, married, unmarried. Then 2.1, if married, strongly agree to strongly disagree. See, now this scaling is, it sounds very funny, but there is a more point into it. Okay. What to ask, how to ask. That is about validity test. The next one is reliability. I want to dwell upon some 2 to 3 minutes on this. Reliability means how precise, how accurate, how objective is your measurement scale. This is where the standardized scales actually comes into picture. Okay. How do we measure the reliability? Everyone knows about one statistical technique called Cronbach alpha. Cronbach alpha, we do all in our research articles. We do in our PhD thesis. But what is this Cronbach alpha actually speaks? Everyone will say, sir, Cronbach alpha speaks about reliability. Reliability of what? Reliability of what? Reliability. This Cronbach alpha checks the reliability of the variables which you are asking in the questionnaire. But that is not just reliability. Actually, reliability has 3 things. One is test, retest reliability. You know what is this? I will administer a question today. Okay, I will collect the data. After some time, I will administer the same questionnaire to you. I will collect the data after 6 months. Okay, now I will do the correlation between the data that I collected today and the data that I have collected that I'm going to collect after 6 months. Okay, it should have a good correlation, which means that the scale, and if the correlation is high, it means that it is a time tested material because it tests for time. Test, retest. And only across items. When I say items, it means the variables. This is where to check the internal consistency, we use Cronbach alpha. And across different researchers, for example, now there's one American who is measuring a scale. Okay. And I also do on the same topic here in India. So if I do the product moment correlation, which means the same Carl Pearson correlation, if the answer between his measurement scale and my measurement scale matches, okay, it means that across the researchers, the scale is holding good if there is a high correlation. So reliability is tested with time, with people, within the variables. Okay, this Cronbach alpha, whatever that we say, is only between the variables that we have considered for our PhD. But actually, we have to test, retest has to be done, an interreliability test has to be done. There's a plenty. Reliability is an ocean. Okay, and we all know that the Cronbach alpha should be near to 1. That is better. Yes, ma'am. The next one is the normality test. See, the data that we have collected in interval scale or ratio scale, it should be normal in nature. Only then parametric test can be applied. Sir, what if my interval and ratio scale is not normal? Then no other option than resorting it to non-parametric test. How do I know that my data is normal in nature? Very simple. Check for the skewness value. Okay. Yes, ma'am. Next, ma'am. These are the assumptions for parametric test. It must be normally distributed. Okay. How to check the normality of data? Very simple. Estimate the skewness value. You have 3 different formulas for skewness. One is Carl Pearson's coefficient of skewness, Bowley's coefficient of skewness, and Kelly's coefficient of skewness. And the SPSS basically follow Bowley's coefficient of skewness. Okay. And if your data is having 0 as skewness level, which means that the data is normally distributed, which means it's not skewed. It's not skewed. Okay. When the skewness is 0, mean median mode will be equal. You can see the B part. There is no skewness. Okay. If you see the A, that is negatively skewed. That is the left part will be more and the right part will be less. That's a negatively skewed. And the next one is positively skewed. You can see this. Okay. And for checking the skewness, it is impossible to get 0 as a skewness value. Therefore, what they normally say, there is a rule of thumb which says that if the skewness value between -1 to +1, if it is somewhere between -1 to +1, it can be considered as near normal and you can proceed with the data. But if your skewness is more than -1 or greater than +1, then obviously the data is skewed. Okay, you cannot dilute the skewness to 2 or 3 or 4. Okay, if it is between -1 to +1, then it can still be considered as it is near normal, and all the parametric test can be applied. And once your data, you find it as normal distribution, what is the shape of the normal curve? That is decided, or that is estimated using kurtosis. You may have leptokurtic curve, which means that all the values are within the narrow range. If it is little spread, it's mesokurtic. If it is wide spread, if your normal curve is wide spread, it's called as platykurtic. Okay, so there is again a rule of thumb which says that the kurtosis can be somewhere between -2 to +2. But I will strongly agree, rather than -2 to +2, again apply the same concept as -1 to +1. Again, kurtosis is not much considered when it comes to analysis. So these are the areas which we need to think about when we think about the scales of measurement. These things I will deal it in a very detailed way when it comes to analysis part at a later part of our webinar series. So thank you so much. And I have one question to answer about. Vishal Krishnan has asked, to check the normality, do we need to use the KS test or skewness is sufficient? See, we have KS test, that is Kolmogorov-Smirnov, and we also have Shapiro-Wilson, SW, Shapiro-Wilson test. Okay. See, they are like contradicting each other. Okay. One deals with if your sample is small in number, you go with either, I'm not sure, we will go with SW, or, one deals with the smaller samples, one deals with a larger sample. But overall, they also calculate skewness only. Okay. So I would strongly suggest, if your data is larger in number, which means anything above 400 or 500 or 600, okay, anything above 400, okay, normally data tends to normality, because you know something about law of large numbers. In statistics, we have something called as law of large numbers. Based on that, normally when you have more data, the data will have less skewness and it will be normal in nature. Okay. But if your data is only very small in number, let's say 100 or 200 or 300, that is where this Shapiro-Wilson or Kolmogorov-Smirnov test, these things has to be applied. Okay. But I would strongly suggest, the main point that you need to check is, check for the skewness value. That is more than enough for all the parametric test, is what my conclusion would be. That is out of the experience that I have had so far. I would say that check for the skewness level, because if it is somewhere between -1 to +1, then you can see your mean median mode will be almost equal. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. There's one more question in my end. Sir, if we increase the number of population, maybe the sample size, okay, does it overcome the type 1, type 2 error, sir?
Again, with some caution, it has to be answered, because just because you have more data, it is not necessary that it is. See, again, with all caveat only I speak. Okay, there is no harden. If you increase the sample size, the skewness will come. No, law of large numbers appears, provided if it is representative in nature. Okay, the data that you are collecting should be representative. Then you will have zero skewness, or at least near to you will have this normality. Okay, because you collect it from a large number. If it is not representative, then we may not be. I'm not sure that it tends to normality. I cannot conclude that it tends to normality. No, definitely not. And there was one question which I do not know. Probably I have to work on it, about the kurtosis. What is that X and Y axis? I'll just think about it. I got it from some online material. I'll work on it, and definitely don't worry. All the analytical part, okay, will be dealt exclusively on each topic. For example, mean median mode, we will deal it extensively right from mean median mode. So all the topics will be dealt in the future series of things. So definitely I'll answer that. Thank you so much because we are running short of time. So I don't want to take much time now. Thank you so much. Nagalata ma'am, anything to conclude from here? I'm done from my end. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You have almost finished everything. You have completed almost the relevant details, which is connected to skewness and kurtosis. So normally the normality says whether your population is represented overall. That's it. Whether your respondent have covered all the population or not. In the same way. So here I thank in my end organizing team, Dr. C.K. Deepa ma'am, Associate Professor and Head, and Miss A. Shiba ma'am, Deepa ma'am and Shiba ma'am both. Okay, Shiba is in research scholar from University of Madras. Thank you for making us for this day, and thank you for the opportunity which is given to me. Thank you one and all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, sir.
Any questions? If you have, please share.
Participants, you can unmute and ask a question to our resource persons, please.
Can we deliver the OTIC?
So far, no queries.
Yes, ma'am. No questions asked.
No questions asked, ma'am.
Shall we proceed with the OTIC thanks?
Yes, ma'am.
Good day. It's my pleasure to propose the vote of thanks. Gratitude makes sense of a past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. At the outset, we would like to express our sincere gratitude to the University of Madras, Department of Commerce, Madras University Commerce Alumni Association, and Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Sashim Jain College for Women. A heartfelt thanks to our speakers of the day, Dr.A.G.VIJAYANARAYANAN sir and Dr.A.S. Nagalatha ma'am, for spending their valuable time in providing their insights about scales of measurement. We also extend our gratitude to our convener, Dr. R. Shanti ma'am, Professor and Head Department of Commerce, University of Madras, our program directors, Dr. A.G. Vijayanarayanan sir, Assistant Professor, Aided PG and Research Department of Commerce, D.G. Vaishnav College Autonomous, Dr. Haridayal Sharma sir, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of Commerce, D.G. Vaishnav College Autonomous, Chennai, and Dr. A.S. Nagalatha ma'am, Assistant Professor, Research Supervisor and Guide, Department of Commerce, C.Kandasami Naidu College. We would also like to thank Dr. S. Batmavati ma'am, Principal, and Vice Principal Dr. S. Rukmani ma'am from Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Sashim Jain College for Women for their unwavering support and guidance for this workshop. A sincere gratitude to our organizing committee members, Dr. C.K. Deepa ma'am, Associate Professor and Head, PG and Research Department of Commerce, Sri Shankarlal Sundarbai Sashim Jain College, and Ms. A. Shiba, Research Scholar, University of Madras. Last but not the least, thank you participants for your active participation and cooperation. Meet you all soon in the next set of webinar. We request the participants to kindly fill the feedback form.
Thank you, ma'am and sir, for your wonderful session, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir. Dear participants, you have posted the feedback link in the chat box. Kindly fill that, and you'll receive the certificate by this week, either by Wednesday or Thursday. Thank you. Kindly fill the form. Have a nice day and keep learning, and happy weekend.